want to say this is the best I've ever played. You know, I think I'm in a good moment, so I really hope to keep the momentum going, keep working.
Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana patuloy yung support.
A golden heart. Alex Eala, a teen tennis star, stuns everyone by donating $300,000. After the defeat of an Olympic silver medalist twice, the tennis community believed they were paying attention to another exhibition game. What they saw, rather, it was an instance that went beyond sports in general. A gesture of such depth it caused shockwaves to travel across regions and left mature guys crying in the position. On a court covered with sunshine in Melbourne, a 19-year-old Filipino Alexandra Eala sensation didn't merely defeat a silver medalist from the Olympics and in front of thousands of yelling supporters. She didn't only establish herself as one among the most captivating emerging talent in tennis as a professional. She did a long-lasting memory after the awards have accumulated dust and the scoreboards have been reset. At center court, gasping for air, her with passion in his eyes, Alex declared that she would give her whole $300,000 prize fund to organizations committed to providing care for orphans worldwide. $300,000 abandoned, handed away in an instant. When inquired about the choice that was left, she added that reporters were at a loss for words. Tears were flowing down her face. That it was, to quote, the simplest thing in my life. This wasn't a PR gimmick, determined by a marketing team in a boardroom. This has nothing to do with damage control or image restoration. This was pure, unadulterated empathy from an adolescent who, for some reason, remained grounded when the world started to collapse at her feet. There has been no response. Not quite explosive. Social media platforms collapsed due to the weight of her tale is being shared by millions. Hashtags devoted to her trend of giving globally for 3 days in a row. Tennis players, ranging from seasoned pros to in their tributes, rookies referred to her as in motivation. Fundraising was organized by fans. Campaigns in her memory. Media sources carried the story from Manila to Madrid on their front pages. Even famous people outside of the tennis community commented, with performers, musicians, and humanitarian organizations commending her morality. This is the kind of instance that characterizes legacies. This is the kind of behavior that makes sportsmen famous. However, here's what makes this tale even more amazing. Prior to Alexa making a donation, she had to earn that riches. Moreover, she earned it by completely taking apart one of the most ornate participants in a performance on the circuit. Incident caused tennis commentators to rush to adjust their forecasts for the forthcoming Australian Open. Let's go back to the conflict that prepared the ground for a beautiful event that will never be forgotten. The Kwong Melbourne's Classic, renowned, described as the spiritual residence of legends, have played tennis in Australia. Champions have come and gone. It's where legacies and careers begin are solidified. This year, it turned into the platform for Alex Eala to make her announcement arrival, not with words, but with a brutal, deliberate devastation of Donovic, a powerful Croatian. The last 63-64 was the score. However, such figures don't narrate the events that really occurred. On that particular court, there was no match here. This was a declaration. This was a teenager peering over the internet from Quezon City at a silver medalist from the Olympics. A participant placed 70th globally with 4 WTA singles championships and stating that without saying only one statement, "Your time is over. Mine is just getting started." Donovic is no pushover. Let's be clear regarding it. At the age of 29, the Croatian celebrity has spent more than 10 years competing against the top gamers on the earth. She won a silver medal at the Paris Olympic Games in 2024, losing just to the world's greatest on the biggest stage that can be imagined. She has a time serve at rates that would cause the majority of gamers to weep. Her forehand is a mass weapon. Devastation, with the potential to terminate before they've even started. She has triumphed. Competitions on hard, grass, and clay courts. By all accounts, she is a full-fledged and risky gamer. Nevertheless, in only 10 days, for the second time, Donovic had no response at all to the Filipino adolescent sensation. Not one. Nothing. Zip. In reality, this was their second encounter in less than 2 weeks. Moreover, the importance of it cannot be exaggerated. Only a few days before, in January, 6th place in the WTA 125 ASB Classic, and Eala had triumphed in Auckland, New Zealand. Vake in the first round in an exhausting thriller in 3 sets that ended in the wire. That triumph on its own would have been sufficient to draw attention. A young athlete beats a well-known celebrity in a hard-fought conflict. Traditional underdog narrative. Everyone adores it. However, to accomplish it once again at a larger gathering with more, it's not luck that more people are observing. It's not an anomaly. It's not catching someone on a day off. That's dominance. It's a message. That's AA real-life guard change time in front of our eyes. The first set Kwong was a complete clinic in aggressive tennis in the contemporary era. For many years, commentators and critics had a pigeonholed as a defensive player, Alexa counterpuncher who depended on rivals creating errors as opposed to pressuring the problem on her own. Those critics are able to formally destroy their scouting reports and begin over because what we Eala 2.0 was seen on the court, and she is a whole other animal. She entered the baseline using the courage of a seasoned champion. She redirected Vichys by taking the ball early. Power back with enthusiasm. Her lefty, that lovely whipping action with the forehand, she attended the Rafael Nadal Academy to study. Painted lines in the manner of an artist. Using a brush, she disrupted Vichys' serve. In that first set, not once, but twice. Every pause was interspersed by roars from the throng that was audible from blocks away. At the end of the set, 6-3 in Eala's favor, there was a feeling there is something unique about the stadium. Was taking place. The second set included why Donovec has succeeded all of her abilities in this sport. She is a combatant. She feels pleased. She is an Olympian, and Olympians are not silent. Far into the night, Vake elevated herself, started serving larger, striking harder. Eala is being moved about the court using accuracy and malevolence. For an instant, it seemed as if she would create a return that would compel a decisive third set. 4 games were played. All, and the stadium's tension was thick enough for a knife to cut through. This was the time. Champions were found here. Are either broken or forged. This was the location where we would ascertain if Alex Eala was prepared for prime time, or whether she was just another gifted child who would wither under pressure. Instead of wilting, she burst. With Vake serving to remain in, Eala sent a backhand down during the match. The line that will be repeated in highlights for future years. The screaming off her racket, the ball skimming the line by millimeters, and left the vehicle was frozen. Eala is the breakpoint. The audience exploded. The following point, one more backhand. This cross-court at unfeasible speed and angle. Brachula. She was currently working for the match at 54. Just 1 game away from solidifying her position as a genuine danger to every single person on the excursion. Were her hands trembling? Did her legs feel burdened by the moment's weight? You couldn't tell whether they did. She worked as with the composure and assurance of someone who had finished championship games hundreds of times in the past. For points, it ended later. 63-64 game set match. Eala, the adolescent from the Philippines, had done it once more. However, as said in the beginning, what transpired? What will really resonate after the game throughout the past? When the microphone was given to Alex for the traditional encore interview, everyone anticipated the typical athlete speak. Thank you to the sponsors. The supporters discuss anticipating the next game. Perhaps include a remark regarding the opponent's clever play. Rather, Alex Eala peered straight into the camera, inhaled, and continued to declare that she was giving away not a single penny of her $300,000 prize money to organizations that aid orphans' kids. The quiet that followed was deafening. Then there was cheering, beginning cautiously before developing into a loud applause that seemed to would go on forever. Adult guys wiped their tears from their eyes. Journalists with a lot of experience found it difficult to remain calm. This wasn't included in the script. This wasn't typical. This was outstanding. Consider regarding the significance of $300,000 to a young tennis player attempting to establish herself in the business world. World-class coaches are purchased with that money. who can hone skills and advance approach. It includes flights to competitions across 6 continents. It finances lodging in pricey cities during significant occasions. It covers the cost of physiotherapists to maintain the body healthy despite the taxing demands of professional tennis player. It permits mental coaches, dietitians, and hitting partners, as well as every other member of the group that distinguishes the talented players from the great ones. For a player who is ranked not yet in the elite, but in the top 300,000 is not walking around in the top 10. Cash. Its facilities, its investment, its safety, and Alex simply gave everything away without hesitation. Thought. The choice makes something clear. Deep understanding of Alexa's identity when the crowds have left and the cameras are off. At home. In a time when athletes are frequently appropriately chastised for being detached from the real world, where multimillionaire athletes grumble about the Wi-Fi on private jets while people find it difficult to provide for their families. This is a 19-year-old tennis player who could have kept that money for themselves, purchased a luxurious vehicle for herself, upgraded her team, and nobody would have held her accountable. For a moment. Rather, she gazed at that examined and observed orphan kids who needed assistance. She observed children without parents who were deserving of an improved quality of life. She saw a chance to utilize her success and platform for true kindness in the world, and she took it without thinking. Social media completely blew up in a matter of hours and days following the announcement. The phrase "heart of gold" trended on Twitter for 72 straight hours. Instagram was flooded with photos of Alex alongside captions praising her character and generosity. TikTok videos highlighting her donation racked up tens of millions of views. Even people who had never watched a tennis match in their lives were sharing her story. Inspired by this display of selflessness from someone so young, comment sections overflowed with messages of support and admiration. "This is why we love her," wrote one fan from Manila. "A true champion on and off the court," said another from Australia. "The world needs more athletes like Alex Eala," commented someone from New York. The sentiment was universal and overwhelming. In a cynical world that often assumes the worst about people, Alex Eala had given everyone a reason to believe in the good. Fellow tennis players joined the chorus of praise. Veterans of the sport who have seen everything and are rarely impressed by anything took to social media to commend Eala's gesture. Some shared stories of their own charitable work, crediting Alex with inspiring them to do more. Others simply posted heart emojis and the Philippine flag, letting the symbols speak for themselves. The WTA itself issued a statement calling Alex an inspiration and a role model. Former champions weighed in during television commentary, with one Hall of Famer saying on air that in 30 years of covering tennis, she had never seen anything quite like what Alexa had just done. However, the praise extended far beyond the tennis world. Humanitarian organizations reached out to thank Alex publicly and privately. Orphanages that would benefit from her donation shared videos of children who would have better lives because of her generosity. Celebrities from other sports and entertainment industries chimed in. A famous actor tweeted that Alex Eala had restored his faith in the next generation. A musician wrote a song inspired by her act of kindness. A best-selling author penned an essay about how athletes can change the world if they choose to use their platforms for good. The ripple effect of Alex's decision was staggering, reaching corners of society that tennis rarely touches. This moment also needs to be understood in the context of where Alexa comes from and what she represents. The Philippines is a nation of over 100 million people with a deep and passionate love for sports, but tennis has historically not been the country's strong suit. Basketball dominates the cultural conversation. Boxing produced legends like Manny Pacquiao who became global icons. But tennis was always something that happened elsewhere. Something Filipinos watched from afar, but rarely participated in at the highest levels. Alex Eala is changing that narrative entirely. She is not just a tennis player who happens to be from the Philippines. She is a national hero, a symbol of what's possible when talent meets opportunity, meets unwavering determination. depending on exactly how deep she goes in Melbourne, and we are all hoping and expecting she goes as far as possible. There is growing talk and speculation about her returning home to the Philippines for a special homecoming. The inaugural Philippine Women's Open is scheduled for late January, and this represents a historic moment for tennis in the country. The Philippine Tennis Association has already graciously granted wildcard entry slots to Alex and her close friend, Indonesia's rising star Janice Jean. Just imagine that scene for a moment. Alex Eala, fresh off a top 50 breakthrough and possibly a strong Australian Open performance, returning triumphantly to Manila to play in front of an adoring home crowd for the first time as a top 50 player. The atmosphere would be absolutely electric, unlike anything tennis in the Philippines has ever witnessed. It would be like a Beatles concert crossed with a national holiday celebration. If she decides to play, it will instantly become the hottest sporting ticket in the entire country. It's a golden opportunity for the local fans, especially the young Filipino kids who look up to her as a hero and role model, to see their idol in the flesh playing live tennis. To witness up close the incredible speed of the ball, the intensity of the footwork and movement, the strategy and shot-making. It would be a victory lap for the ages and an inspiration to the next generation. We also need to zoom out from Alex's individual story and examine the much bigger picture developing here. The semi-final match between Eala and Wang Senna wasn't just another tennis match to fill a schedule slot. It was a genuine snapshot of the future of women's tennis and where the sport is heading. For literally decades, professional tennis was almost completely dominated by American players and European players. But look carefully at the current rankings now. You have China's Qinwen Zhang breaking into the elite. You have Wang Senna rising rapidly. You have Alex Eala representing Southeast Asia. You have Indonesia's Janice Jean climbing steadily. Asian tennis is experiencing an absolute golden era, a renaissance. These women are bringing a distinctly different flavor and style to the WTA Tour. They bring incredible discipline instilled from years of structured training. They demonstrate immense work ethic that sometimes puts Western players to shame, and they showcase distinct playing styles shaped by different coaching philosophies. Wang with her flat penetrating power that overwhelms opponents. Eala with her Spanish-influenced heavy top spin and incredible fighting spirit learned at the Nadal Academy. It's a melting pot of styles and approaches that is making the WTA Tour more exciting, more unpredictable, and more globally representative than it has been in years, possibly decades. Moreover, Alex is proudly leading the charge for Southeast Asia specifically. She is carrying the flag not just for the Philippines as a nation, but for the entire ASEAN region of countries that have been historically underrepresented in tennis as a professional. When she steps onto the court for any match, she represents millions and millions of people across Southeast Asia who have been waiting patiently for a hero in this sport, someone who looks like them and comes from their region. That is an enormously heavy burden to carry on young shoulders, the weight of national and regional expectations. But as we witnessed so beautifully in Auckland, she wears that burden lightly and with grace. She wears it with an infectious grin. She wears it with a heart SH gesture and a loving shout-out to her parents. She handles the pressure with a maturity far beyond her years. So here is the bottom line and final verdict on this entire incredible story. Alex Eala did not win the tournament trophy in Auckland. Wang Senna took the match fair and square in that epic 3-set battle, and full credit to her because she played like an absolute champion when it mattered. With legitimate credentials, how far do you honestly think she can go in the upcoming Australian Open? Is this finally the year she makes that crucial breakthrough into the second week of a Grand Slam tournament? Drop all your predictions, thoughts, and reactions in the comments section below. I personally read every single one of them and love engaging with this incredible community. If you genuinely enjoyed this comprehensive deep dive into the emotional roller coaster of the ASB Classic and Alex Eala's historic achievement, smash that like button because it really helps the channel grow and reach more tennis fans. And if you haven't already joined the Champions Tennis family, hit that subscribe button right now and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update on Alex Eala, the ADP Tour, the WTA Tour, and everything happening in between. We are Champions Tennis. We don't just passively watch the game from a distance. We live it. We breathe it. We celebrate every triumph and feel every heartbreak. Until next time, keep your eye on the ball and keep believing in the power of dreams. I want to say this is the best I've ever played. You know, I think I'm in a good moment. So, I really hope to keep the momentum going, keep working hard, and hopefully the fans I think didn't expect this today, but here are two match.